The gleaming spires of Galactic University rose like crystalline fingers against the pink sky of Centauri Prime. Hovering transports zipped between buildings, carrying students of 1,000 different species to their classes. In the central quad, a Miraxian floated serenely, its tentacles swaying in the artificial breeze, while a cluster of insectoids clicked and buzzed excitedly over a glowing datavat. This was the heart of interstellar academia, where the brightest minds from across the Milky Way came to study and push the boundaries of known science. For centuries, Galactic University had been the unquestioned pinnacle of higher education in the galaxy. Its graduates went on to lead governments, make groundbreaking discoveries, and shake the course of civilizations. But today was different. Today, history was about to be made. Dean Xylox, a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin and 4 arms, paced nervously in his office. His luminous eyes flicked between the ornate chronometer on the wall and the swirling patterns of the transdimensional portal in the corner of the room. Any moment now, she would arrive, the first human ever to set foot on Centauri Prime. The dean's assistant, a robotic entity named Circuit, hovered nearby. Sir, may I remind you that increased agitation has been shown to negatively impact decision-making capabilities in 87% of carbon-based life forms. Hylox waved a dismissive hand. Your concern is noted, Circuit, but this is no ordinary day. The arrival of a human at our institution is unprecedented. The Council of Elders fought against this for years, citing concerns about humanity's volatile history and unpredictable nature. And yet, here we are, Circuit observed. Indeed, Kylox sighed. The exchange initiative passed by a single vote. Now the reputation of our entire species rests on how we handle this experiment. Suddenly, the portal flared to life, its swirling energies coalescing into a humanoid shape. With a flash of light and a rush of displaced air, a young woman stumbled into the office, dragging a large suitcase behind her. Zara Chen, age 19, blinked rapidly as her eyes adjusted to the alien environment. Her jet-black hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and she wore simple, functional clothing: jeans, sneakers, and a faded t-shirt bearing the logo of her home institution, MIT. Holy shit, Zara breathed, her eyes wide as she took in the view from the floor-to-ceiling windows. I mean, greetings, honored hosts. I come in peace, and all that jazz. Dean Xylox's bioluminescent patterns flickered in what might have been amusement. Welcome to Galactic University, Ms. Chen. I am Dean Xylox, and this is my assistant, Circuit. We hope your journey through the quantum tunnel wasn't too disorienting. Zara grinned, her initial nervousness already fading. Are you kidding? That was amazing. I have so many questions about how it works. The implications for physics alone are mind-blowing, not to mention the potential applications in. The dean held up a hand, chuckling. I can see your reputation for enthusiasm is well-deserved. There will be plenty of time for questions later. For now, let's get you settled in your quarters and begin your orientation. As they left the office, a crowd of alien students had already gathered in the hallway, whispering and pointing at the new arrival. Zara felt a moment of self-consciousness under their curious gazes, but she squared her shoulders and met their eyes with a friendly smile. Hi everyone, she said, waving. I'm Zara. Looking forward to studying with you all. The response was a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and electromagnetic pulses as the alien students attempted to communicate. Circuit quickly intervened, its central processor glowing as it activated a universal translation field. They welcome you, the robot explained. Though many are expressing surprise at your physical form, it seems humans are not quite what they expected. Zara laughed. Well, I hope I don't disappoint. We may not have tentacles or exoskeletons, but I promise we've got a few tricks up our sleeves. As they made their way across campus, Zora's head swiveled constantly, trying to take in all the wonders around her. Holographic displays hovered in midair, showing complex equations and 3D models of distant star systems. In one courtyard, a group of ethereal beings that seemed to be made of pure energy were engaged in some sort of debate, their forms shifting and pulsing with each new argument. "This is incredible," Zara murmured. "I knew Galactic U was advanced. But this, it's like something out of a dream." Dean Xilox nodded, pride evident in his voice. "We have been at the forefront of scientific discovery for millennia. Our faculty includes beings from the farthest reaches of the galaxy, each bringing unique perspectives and knowledge." They arrived at a sleek building near the center of campus. "These will be your quarters," the dean explained. "We've done our best to accommodate human needs, though please let us know if any adjustments are required." Zara's room was spacious and comfortable, with large windows offering a spectacular view of the alien landscape. A bed that seemed to be made of some sort of self-adjusting gel dominated one corner, while a desk equipped with holographic interfaces took up another. "Classes begin tomorrow," Dean Hylock said. "You'll find your schedule and campus map uploaded to your personal device. Do you have any questions before we leave you to settle in?" Zara's mind raced with 1,000 queries, but she settled on the most pressing. "Just one for now. What exactly are the other students expecting from me? I mean, I'm honored to be here, but I'm just one human. I don't want to let anyone down." The dean's expression softened. "Ms. Chen, your presence here is already a momentous occasion. Humanity's rapid technological advancement has been a subject of great interest, and yes, some concern in the galactic community. We hope that by fostering this cultural exchange, we can build bridges of understanding between our peoples." He placed a hand on her shoulder in what he hoped was a comforting gesture. "Simply be yourself, engage with your studies, and show us the best of what humanity has to offer. That will be more than enough." As the dean and circuit left, Zara flopped onto her gel bed, her mind whirling with excitement and apprehension. She was about to embark on the academic adventure of a lifetime, representing her entire species in a galaxy of wonders. "No pressure," she muttered to herself, grinning. "Just don't screw it up and start an interstellar incident. How hard could it be?" Little did Zara know, her arrival at Galactic University was about to set in motion a chain of events that would challenge the very foundations of alien academia and force the galaxy to reconsider everything they thought they knew about the potential of humanity. Zara's first day of classes at Galactic University dawned with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. She'd spent half the night poring over her course schedule and orientation materials, marveling at the sheer breadth of subjects available. Today, she'd be starting with advanced quantum mechanics and its applications in interstellar travel, followed by xenobiology, a comparative study of carbon-based life forms. As she made her way to her first lecture, Zara couldn't help but notice the stares and whispers that followed her. Some alien students gave her a wide berth, while others crowded closer, clearly fascinated by the sight of a human up close. The lecture hall for quantum mechanics was a massive amphitheater, filled with hundreds of students from dozens of species. Zara took a seat near the front, trying to ignore the empty chairs on either side of her. The professor, a being that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, flickered into existence at the center of the room. "Greetings, students," the professor's voice resonated in Zara's mind rather than her ears. "Today we begin our exploration of the quantum realm and its implications for faster-than-light travel. Please activate your neural interfaces so we may commence the download of today's lesson." Zara's hand shot up. "Excuse me, Professor. I don't have a neural interface. Is there another way I can access the material?" The professor's multidimensional form shimmered with what might have been surprise. Yes. The human exchange student. I had forgotten about your limitations. I'm afraid the complexity of today's equations requires direct neural input for proper comprehension. Perhaps you should consider auditing a more basic course until you can be properly augmented." Zara felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment as titters and electromagnetic pulses of amusement rippled through the classroom. But she wasn't about to back down. "With all due respect, Professor, I'd like to try. Maybe if you could project the equations holographically, I could work through them the old-fashioned way." The professor seemed skeptical but agreed. As the lesson progressed, Zara found herself scribbling furiously in her notebook, her mind racing to keep up with concepts that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. But to her surprise and satisfaction, she began to see patterns and connections that excited her. By the end of the class, Zara's hand was cramping, but she'd managed to solve 2 of the 3 problem sets. As she gathered her things, she overheard a group of gelatinous students pulsing nearby. Impressive for a primitive species, one blob burbled. "But surely this pace is unsustainable. The human will burn out within a week." Zara gritted her teeth and moved on to her next class, determined to prove them wrong. Xenobiology proved to be equally challenging, but for different reasons. The professor, a towering insectoid being named Dr. Kiktix, seemed fascinated by Zara's presence. "Class, we have a unique opportunity today," Dr. Kiktix clicked excitedly. "We can observe a living specimen of humanity up close. Ms. Chen, would you mind serving as our subject for today's lesson?" Zara hesitated, then nodded. "Sure, I guess, as long as it doesn't involve any probing or dissection." The joke fell flat as most of the class stared at her in confusion. Dr. Kiktix, however, let out a series of rapid clicks that the translator interpreted as laughter. "Your species' use of humor as a defense mechanism is most intriguing," the professor said. "Now, class, observe the bilateral symmetry, the inefficient bipedal locomotion, the exposed sensory organs. Truly, humans are a fascinating study in evolutionary compromise." For the next hour, Zara felt like a specimen under a microscope as Dr. Kiktix and the class discussed her biology in excruciating detail. She answered countless questions about human physiology, diet, and reproductive practices, trying not to squirm under the intense scrutiny. As the class ended, a small group of students approached her. A floating, jellyfish-like creature pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that the translator rendered as speech. "We found your insights most enlightening, human Zara," it said. "Would you be willing to engage in further cultural exchange? We have many questions about Earth and its customs." Zara smiled, relieved to find some friendly faces. "I'd love to, and please, just call me Zara." Over the next few weeks, Zara fell into a routine of intense study and cultural exploration. She formed a study group with a diverse mix of alien students, each bringing unique perspectives to their discussions. There was Kyle, the jellyfish-like Medusan, Grax, a rock-like being from a high-gravity world, and Zix, a hyper-intelligent shade of blue from a gas giant. Together, they tackled mind-bending problem sets and debated the finer points of galactic politics. Zara found herself constantly amazed by her new friend's abilities and knowledge, but she also began to realize that her human perspective often led her to approach problems in ways her alien classmates hadn't considered. One evening, as they were working on a particularly challenging assignment for their Ethics of Interspecies Governance class, Zara had an idea. "What if we approach this from a game theory perspective?" she suggested. "Look at the historical data on how different species have handled first contact scenarios. We could model it as a multiplayer prisoner's dilemma and see what strategies emerge." Her friends stared at her in amazement. "That's brilliant," Grax rumbled. "I've never considered applying such an archaic mathematical model to modern governance issues." Zara grinned. "Sometimes the old ways have merit. Humans may not have neural interfaces or natural telepathy, but we've had to get creative to solve problems throughout our history." As word of Zara's unique problem-solving abilities spread, more alien students began seeking her out for study sessions and discussions. She found herself becoming something of a minor celebrity on campus, with students and even some faculty members peppering her with questions about human culture, history, and scientific achievements. But not everyone was thrilled with the humans' growing influence. Professor Zixel, a senior member of the theoretical physics department, viewed Zara's presence as a disruption to the carefully ordered academic hierarchy. The human's primitive methodologies have no place in our advanced curricula, he complained to Dean Axelox. Her insistence on intuitive approaches and creative thinking undermines millennia of rigorous academic tradition. The dean, however, was intrigued by the fresh perspectives Zara brought to the university. Perhaps, Professor Zixel, it is time for our traditions to be challenged. The galaxy is ever-changing, and we must adapt or risk stagnation. As the first term progressed, tensions continued to simmer beneath the surface of everyday academic life. Zara, oblivious to the political maneuvering happening behind the scenes, threw herself into her studies with characteristic human determination. Her big chance to prove herself came in her advanced exoplanetary terraform. In class, the final project required students to design a theoretical terraforming plan for a hostile alien world. Zara's team, which included Axial, Grax, and Zix, chose a particularly challenging ice planet on the fringes of known space. As they presented their project to the class, Zara's excitement was palpable. By using a combination of engineered extremophile bacteria, orbital mirrors, and controlled asteroid impacts, we believe we can trigger a greenhouse effect that will melt the planet's ice caps and create a habitable environment within just 500 years. The class buzzed with a mixture of impressed murmurs and skeptical clicks. Professor Vexlor, a being composed of swirling gases, raised what passed for an eyebrow. An ambitious plan, Ms. Chen. But surely you realize the energy requirements for such an undertaking would be astronomical, not to mention the potential for unforeseen consequences on a planetary scale. Zara nodded, her eyes shining. Absolutely, Professor. That's why we've incorporated a novel energy harvesting method based on tapping into the quantum foam of spacetime itself. It's theoretical, of course, but the math checks out. And as for unforeseen consequences, well, isn't that the exciting part of science? Pushing boundaries, taking calculated risks. As the debate raged on, Zara felt a surge of pride. She was holding her own in a classroom full of beings whose intelligence dwarfed that of the brightest humans. More than that, she was contributing ideas that even these advanced aliens hadn't considered. For better or worse, Zara Chen was making waves in the hallowed halls of Galactic University, and the ripples of her presence were about to spread far beyond the confines of academia, challenging the very foundations of interstellar society. As the academic year progressed, Zara's unique approach to problem-solving began to attract more than just curiosity from her fellow students. Her ability to think outside the box and draw connections between seemingly unrelated fields of study was starting to turn heads among the faculty as well. Professor Linax, a respected researcher in the field of astroengineering, approached Zara after a particularly insightful contribution during a seminar on Dyson sphere construction. Ms. Chen, the professor's tentacles rippled with excitement. Your suggestion about using self-replicating nanobots to construct a Dyson swarm instead of a solid sphere is intriguing. It's an approach we've never seriously considered. Would you be interested in joining my research team for a special project? Zara's eyes widened. Are you kidding? I'd be honored, Professor. The project, as it turned out, was an attempt to design a more efficient method of harnessing the energy of quasars. It was cutting-edge work that pushed the boundaries of known physics. Zara threw herself into the research with characteristic human enthusiasm, often working late into the night cycles. Her teammates, a diverse group of brilliant aliens, were initially skeptical of the humans' contributions. But as the weeks went by, they began to appreciate Zara's lateral thinking and willingness to challenge established theories. It's remarkable. Zixtal, a crystalline being from a silicon-based civilization, observed, the human's mind seems to make intuitive leaps that our more structured thought processes miss. It's as if their very inefficiency grants them a kind of cognitive freedom. Not everyone was thrilled with Zara's growing influence, however. A faction of conservative students, led by a particularly vocal Arcturian named Kroll, began to voice concerns about the human contamination of their academic environment. "Look at how she's changing things," Kroll complained to a group of sympathetic listeners in the university's grand atrium, encouraging brainstorming sessions and out-of-the-box thinking. "These human concepts have no place in our rigorous scientific tradition." Zara, overhearing this, felt a mix of hurt and anger. She approached the group, her chin held high. "I'm sorry you feel that way, Kroll. But isn't the point of science to explore new ideas, to challenge our assumptions?" Kroll's eye stalks swiveled towards her, radiating disdain. "The point of science is to build upon the established wisdom of our ancestors, not to recklessly discard millennia of proven methodologies on the whims of a primitive species." The confrontation might have escalated further if Dean Kylox hadn't chosen that moment to enter the atrium. The dean's iridescent skin flickered with concern as he took in the tense scene. "Is there a problem here, students?" he asked, his melodious voice carrying a hint of warning. Kroll and his supporters quickly dispersed, leaving Zora alone with the dean. Kylox regarded her with a mixture of curiosity and concern. "Ms. Chen, I hope you're not letting these disagreements discourage you. Kick University. Your presence here has been a catalyst for some fascinating discussions and innovations." Zara sighed, running a hand through her hair. "I'm trying not to, Dean Kylox. It's just, I came here to learn, to exchange ideas. I didn't mean to cause so much controversy." The dean's skin rippled in what Zora had come to recognize as a smile. "My dear, controversy is often the herald of progress. Keep pushing boundaries, Ms. Chen. The universe has much to learn from humanity, just as humanity has much to learn from us." Encouraged by the dean's words, Zora redoubled her efforts both in her classes and on Professor Linax's research team. Her work was starting to gain attention beyond the university, with several prominent scientific journals expressing interest in publishing their findings. It was during this time that the Galactic Academic Council announced a bold new initiative, an interstellar competition designed to foster innovation and cooperation between species. The Cosmic Confluence Challenge would bring together teams from universities across the galaxy to solve a series of complex, multidisciplinary problems. The announcement sent waves of excitement through Galactic University. Teams began forming immediately, with students jockeying for positions alongside the most brilliant minds on campus. To everyone's surprise, Zara found herself in high demand. "Your unorthodox approach could give us an edge," explained Thawes, a sentient fungal network who had appointed himself team captain. "We need someone who can think, unpredictably." Zara grinned, touched by the implicit compliment. "I'm in. Let's show the galaxy what a little human chaos can do." As the teams prepared for the competition, tensions on campus continued to simmer. Kroll and his followers became increasingly vocal in their opposition to human influence, staging protests and demanding that the university rescind Zora's invitation. The situation came to a head during a heated debate in the Ethics of Interspecies Relations class. The topic was the potential risks and benefits of integrating less advanced species into galactic society. Kroll, his eye stalks quivering with emotion, pointed accusingly at Zara. "We need look no further than our own campus to see the dangers. This human has been here less than a standard solar cycle, and already she's corrupting our time-honored traditions with her primitive ideas." The class erupted into chaos, with students arguing passionately on both sides. Zara stood up, her face flushed, but her voice steady. "I didn't come here to corrupt anything," she said. "I came to learn, to share, to grow. Isn't that what science is all about? We humans may be younger than many of your species, but we face challenges that have forced us to adapt, to think creatively. That's not a weakness, it's a strength." She took a deep breath, looking around at the diverse array of beings that filled the lecture hall. "The universe is vast and full of wonders we can't even imagine. No single species has all the answers. It's only by working together, by combining our unique perspectives and abilities, that we can hope to unlock its secrets." A hush fell over the room as Zara's words sank in. Even Kroll seemed taken aback by the passion and sincerity in her voice. Slowly, tentatively, a Medusan student began to pulse with bioluminescent applause. Others joined in, until the lecture hall was filled with a cacophony of alien approval. As the class dispersed, Zara found herself surrounded by a group of students from various species, all eager to continue the discussion. The debate had struck a chord, forcing many to reconsider their preconceptions about humanity and its place in the galactic community. Later that evening, as Zara sat in her quarters reviewing notes for the upcoming Cosmic Confluence Challenge, she received an unexpected message. It was from Kroll. "Human Zara," the message read, "Your words today have given me much to consider. While I still have reservations about the rapid integration of less advanced species, I cannot deny the value of diverse perspectives in scientific inquiry. I would appreciate the opportunity to discuss this further, if you are willing." Zara smiled, feeling a glimmer of hope. It was a small step, but perhaps it was the beginning of a greater understanding between humans and their galactic neighbors. As she penned a reply agreeing to meet with Kroll, Zara couldn't help but feel that she was part of something much bigger than herself, a cosmic exchange of ideas that could shape the future of the entire galaxy. With renewed determination, she turned her attention back to her preparation for the Cosmic Confluence Challenge. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Zara was ready to face them, armed with the unique blend of human ingenuity and alien wisdom she had gained at Gala. The day of the Cosmic Confluence Challenge arrived, bringing with it a palpable sense of excitement and tension throughout Galactic University. The campus buzzed with activity as teams made last-minute preparations, triple-checking equations and running simulations on their quantum computers. Zara stood with her team in the vast arena specially constructed for the event. Holographic displays flickered to life around them, showing teams from other universities across the galaxy. Some were familiar species, while others were so alien that Zara could barely comprehend their forms. "Welcome, esteemed competitors," Dean Silox's voice resonated through the arena. "Today, you will face challenges that will test not only your scientific knowledge, but your ability to collaborate across species barriers. The fate of future galactic cooperation may well rest on the outcomes we see here." Zara felt a shiver run down her spine. No pressure, she thought wryly. The first challenge appeared on the holographic screens. Design and simulate a propulsion system capable of moving a small planet out of the path of a supernova, with minimal disruption to its ecosystem. Zara's team huddled together, ideas flying fast and furious. Thaw's fungal network pulsed with rapid calculations, while Grax's rocky form rumbled with proposed energy equations. Zara listened intently, her mind racing to connect the disparate threads of alien logic. "Wait," she said suddenly, her eyes lighting up. "What if we combine Thaw's mycelial energy distribution with Grax's graviton manipulation theory? We could create a kind of living propulsion system that grows through the planet's crust." Her teammates stared at her for a moment before erupting into excited chatter. They quickly set to work, refining the idea and running simulations. As the deadline approached, they submitted their proposal with nervous anticipation. The judges, a panel of esteemed scientists from across the galaxy, reviewed each team's submission. When they announced the results, Zara could hardly believe her ears. "The team from Galactic University has provided a truly innovative solution," the head judge, a being of pure energy, declared. "Their biogravitational propulsion concept shows remarkable potential for minimal ecological impact." Full points awarded. Zara and her teammates celebrated, their joy transcending species barriers, but there was no time to rest on their laurels. The next challenge was already appearing on the screens. As the competition progressed, Zara's team continued to perform well, their unique combination of perspectives allowing them to approach problems in unexpected ways. But they weren't the only ones excelling. A team from the Andromeda Institute of Technology was matching them point for point, their solutions equally brilliant if more conventionally derived. During a brief recess, Zara overheard a conversation that made her blood run cold. "The human is cheating," a harsh voice whispered. "There's no way a primitive species could contribute to solutions of this caliber. She must have brought forbidden technology from Earth." Zara whirled around to see Kroll huddled with a group of officials, his eye stalks quivering with accusation. Her heart sank. Despite their recent conversation, it seemed Kroll's prejudices ran deeper than she'd realized. Before she could confront him, Dean Tylox appeared, his iridescent skin flickering with concern. "Ms. Chen, I'm afraid we have a situation. Accusations of cheating have been leveled against you. We must investigate before the final round can proceed." Zara felt as if the floor had dropped out from under her. "But that's ridiculous. I would never cheat. Everything we've done has been a team effort." The dean held up a hand to calm her. "I believe you, Zara, but we must follow protocol. Please come with me." As Zara was led away, she saw her teammates watching with a mixture of concern and confusion. She wanted to reassure them, to tell them to go on without her, but her voice seemed stuck in her throat. In a small, featureless room, Zara faced a panel of stern-faced aliens. They questioned her relentlessly about her methods, her knowledge, even her genetic makeup. It was grueling and humiliating, but Zara stood her ground. "I am not cheating," she said firmly, looking each judge in the eye, or equivalent sensory organ. "Humans may be young compared to many of your species, but we are not stupid. We've had to innovate and adapt rapidly throughout our history. That's not cheating. It's survival." As the interrogation dragged on, Zara began to worry that she'd missed the final round entirely. But just as she was about to lose hope, the door burst open. To her shock, Kroll entered, his eye stalks drooping with what looked like shame. I was wrong," Kroll said, his voice uncharacteristically subdued. In the days following the Cosmic Confluence Challenge, Galactic University was abuzz with excitement. Zara and her team's victory had catapulted them into the spotlight, not just within the academic community, but across the galaxy at large. News of the humans' pivotal role in the win spread rapidly, sparking intense debate and discussion about humanity's potential place in galactic society. Zara found herself at the center of a whirlwind of attention. Alien media outlets clamored for interviews. Fellow students sought her out for advice and collaboration, and even some faculty members began to view her with a new level of respect. One afternoon, as Zara was leaving a particularly grueling quantum mechanics lecture, she was approached by Professor Zixel, the same theoretical physicist who had initially dismissed her primitive methodologies. "Ms. Chen," the professor's multidimensional form flickered with what Zara had come to recognize as embarrassment. "I owe you an apology. Your performance in the challenge has forced me to reconsider my preconceptions about human cognitive abilities." Zara smiled, touched by the gesture. "Thank you, Professor. I hope this means you'll be open to more unconventional approaches in your future classes." Zixel's form shimmered with amusement. "Perhaps, though I draw the line at interpreting quantum fluctuations through the medium of interpretive dance." As they shared a laugh, Zara realized how far she'd come since her arrival at Galactic University. She was no longer just a curiosity or an outlier. She was a respected member of this diverse academic community. The real test of this new status came a few weeks later, when Dean Kylox called Zara into his office. The dean's iridescent skin was pulsing with barely contained excitement. "Ms. Chen," he began, his melodious voice tinged with awe, "your team's performance in the Cosmic Confluence Challenge has attracted the attention of the Galactic Council itself. They are intrigued by the potential of human-alien collaboration." Zara's eyes widened. The Galactic Council was the highest governing body in known space, responsible for maintaining peace and fostering cooperation between thousands of species. Their interest in humanity was unprecedented. "What does this mean, exactly?" Zara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Dean Psylox's skin rippled with what Zara had come to recognize as a smile. It means, my dear, that you may have just opened the door for humanity's formal invitation to join the galactic community. The Council has requested that you address them as a representative of your species. Zara felt a wave of dizziness wash over her. The implications were staggering. Her actions, her ideas, her very presence at Galactic University had set in motion events that could change the course of human history. I don't know what to say," she stammered. "Say yes," the dean urged gently. "Your unique perspective, your ability to bridge the gap between human and alien thought. These are precisely what the galaxy needs right now." After a moment of reflection, Zara nodded, her resolve strengthening. "All right, I'll do it." The next few weeks were a blur of preparation. Zara worked closely with her alien friends and mentors to craft a speech that would convey humanity's potential as well as their willingness to learn and grow. She pored over galactic history and interspecies etiquette, determined to make the best possible impression. Finally, the day arrived. Zara stood before the Galactic Council, a sea of alien faces and non-faces stretching out before her. Some were familiar species she'd encountered at the university, while others were so strange and wondrous that her mind could barely comprehend their forms. Taking a deep breath, Zara began to speak. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, I stand before you not just as an individual, but as a representative of humanity. We are a young species, still finding our place in the cosmos, but we come with open minds, eager hearts, and a burning desire to learn and contribute." She went on to describe humanity's rapid technological progress, their resilience in the face of adversity, and their capacity for creativity and innovation. But she also acknowledged their flaws, their history of conflict, their environmental missteps, their struggles with inequality. "We do not claim to have all the answers," Zara continued, her voice growing stronger. "In fact, my time at Galactic University has shown me just how much we have to learn. But I believe that is our greatest strength, our willingness to admit our ignorance and strive to overcome it." She described the collaborative efforts that led to her team's victory in the Cosmic Confluence Challenge, emphasizing how the combination of diverse perspectives had led to truly innovative solutions. "This, I believe, is the true power of galactic cooperation, not just the sharing of knowledge, but the synergy that comes from combining our unique ways of thinking. Humanity is ready to be a part of this grand collaboration. We are ready to learn, to contribute, and to grow alongside our galactic neighbors." As Zara concluded her speech, a moment of silence fell over the council chambers. Then, gradually, a wave of approval began to sweep through the assembled aliens. It manifested in myriad ways: flashing bioluminescence, resonant hums, electromagnetic pulses of excitement. The head of the Galactic Council, a being of pure energy contained within a shimmering force field, floated forward. Zara Chen of Earth. The being's thoughts resonated directly in Zara's mind. "You have spoken eloquently on behalf of your species. The Council recognizes the potential of humanity and the unique perspective you bring to our galactic community. We hereby extend an official invitation for Earth to begin the process of joining the Galactic Federation." Zara felt tears of joy and relief spring to her eyes. She had done it. Humanity had taken its first official step onto the galactic stage. In the days and weeks that followed, Zara found herself at the center of a diplomatic whirlwind. She worked closely with both human and alien officials to begin the complex process of integrating Earth into the galactic community. It would be a long journey, filled with challenges and setbacks, but also with incredible opportunities for growth and discovery. As she prepared to return to Earth to share the news with her fellow humans, Zara took a moment to reflect on her journey. She thought of her first day at Galactic University, how overwhelmed and out of place she had felt. Now she stood at the forefront of humanity's greatest adventure. Dean Xilox approached her as she was packing her belongings. "You have done more than we could have ever hoped, Ms. Chen. You have not only proven humanity's worth, but have reminded the entire galaxy of the value of diversity and collaboration." Zara smiled, feeling a mix of pride and humility. I couldn't have done it without the support and friendship I found here. This is just the beginning, isn't it? The dean's skin rippled with amusement. Indeed it is. The universe is vast and full of wonders, Ms. Chen. And now, humanity will have the chance to explore it alongside the rest of us. As Zara boarded the ship that would take her back to Earth, she took one last look at the gleaming spires of Galactic University. She knew that she would return, not just as a student, but as a bridge between worlds. The future was uncertain, filled with both challenges and infinite possibilities. But thanks to the connection she had forged and the understanding she had helped to create, that future was brighter than ever before. Zara Chen, once just an ordinary human girl, had become a catalyst for change on a cosmic scale. As her ship lifted off, carrying her towards home and the next chapter in humanity's grand adventure, she felt a sense of excitement and purpose that transcended the boundaries of worlds and species. The journey of discovery, both of the universe and of ourselves, was only just beginning.